And today's video, looks like this is kind of blocking my face here a little bit for those that want to watch a video. For today's episode, I'm going over just creating a starting point. Now, this is probably going to be a 2-video day, as I've got the next step of the foundation series of maturity. But this one really is more of, let's just create a clearing. Now, you'll have to, you don't have to, of course, but I do ask that you forgive. Sometimes I get a little quick with my language. I'll talk kind of fast. I get a little excited about really opening up and sharing a lot of this. So with that, I do apologize, and it may be something that you've not noticed, but I want to try to open this up to a large recipient type group, so that they can. More people will appreciate this conversation in a way that they may implement some things for themselves. So when you want to create a starter point, you want to create clearing. And what you do when you create that kind of position, the starter point, you want to understand what you want to do in the first place. And that's what the foundation series for the maturity series is all about. And the foundation point of that, there's 3 phases to it. The first one is the foundation portion, which is insight more than it is anything else, just creating a level of awareness of what's going on in your life, where you currently are, and what you want to do. The second phase is more of structuring, strategizing, and the third phase is actual, not just execution, but follow through to completion, or at least success in that execution. So creating a starter point is you just want to be able to recognize where you currently are. Create that space of emptiness, if you will. Take and untwine all of the things that you've been dealing with that have you emotionally frustrated, or excitement can be just as detrimental as frustration. If excitement leads you down an alleyway that you're very unprepared for, and you don't have the adequate resources to make that a fruitful venture, a lot of people find themselves frustrated when they get into something. They're excited, and then they realize they don't have enough structure, they don't have enough support, which are all part of the resource category. They don't have that available to prop them up or to support them in that endeavor. So therefore, they back out, or they look at that as something to die on the vine. It's like, I've tried that before, I don't want to do it again. So excitement can get us there. A lot of times excitement precedes frustration. So when you do feel frustrated, where were you excited? And then if you can identify where you were excited, you can then start looking at what you wanted to accomplish and what is necessary to accomplish that goal. What I want to do with this base series is to create a habit of success. Now, success might take you 20 years, but what are you going to do in the next 20 years? You're going to be doing something. Are you going to be doing enough in an organized and disciplined fashion to give you more of the life that you want to live? So that's the process and the purpose of this. I'm up to something too. One of the things that I find is typically is people they're up to something. And, depending on the context, most of the time, I just feel like they're up to something, and you hear that in context or you hear that in a conversation, you look for the context. If it's just that the person's just concerned, they see that somebody's doing something they're unfamiliar with, and they're like, yeah, they're up to something, I just know it. Well, hopefully they are, and good for them. I'm up to something. And in my dating life, I've always said that I really want to be involved with people that are up to something. Involved with women that are up to something, right? So that's what I'm up to. I'm up to something. But now that you're aware that I'm up to something, what am I up to? So this is all part of creating that clarity. So I've realized that with all of the frustrations that we're dealing with, and we seem to be dealing with more frustrations now. We seem that relationships are not only aired in the public eye or the social media eye, where it's like, oh, I'm upset with my partner, so I'm going to put it on blast or put my person out there. One of the reasons why people do that is because it helps them create credibility to their argument, because people online will comment or support them in a way that suits their needs. So it may be, I want to coddle you. It may be that, you should leave that person, whatever it is. But they air it, and a lot of times, again, they're just airing it because they just want to be able to build up the right position. I'm right, you're wrong. So when you create clarity, or to create those starter points, you want to understand what's going on. So a lot of people, period, and including myself, have found that they're frustrated over something. We seem to be spoon-fed how we're supposed to think now with the media. Overall, it's self-interested information. It's not really the events that are going on. Overall, it seems that more of it's more slanted, and you can see how they go at each other. The different networks of media, or the news, and how they have conflicting stories over the same conversations. Yes, in the reality of things, people have different perspectives. But whenever your cognitive biases set into those perspectives, you put your story in, you create your story, and then you work on enrolling people in your story, however right or wrong it might be. It's however it suits the ends to what you're after. So that's where I found myself finding more and more frustration, and I'm like, well, what can I do to make a difference? How can I help make a change, stand up for something, and stop? Because I really sit on the sidelines a lot of the time whenever it comes to the emotional warfare that the news articles and the videos and the way that everything's going. I usually sit on the sideline as observing the situation and try not to take a side overall, but just to kind of see what's going on, to try to come up with something to help. And this is it. I would rather help people on a fundamental level develop a life that they love living. Because if you live in a life that you love living, you're less likely to be frustrated over things that are out of your control or joining in somebody else's fight. So that's what this series is all about, to really create a solid clearing. Now, I have work to do. I have a lot of work to do. I come from being a perfectionist, hence the reason why my entire channels and everything I've been up to has been going on for more than 5 years, is because of concern with not looking good or not getting it right, or the concerns of coming across as being, unintelligible. There's all kinds of things, because that comes from my perfectionist side. Now, if I waited until this product was perfect, it would never be perfect, because I wouldn't be putting in the practice to make it that way. As far as perfection goes, it's perfect because it is what it is based off of my abilities and awareness and the timeline of my life. This is perfect, but it's not perfection. So for the people that will pick at these videos or pick at these episodes, just understand that that's also what people do to you in your life. And if you want to stop it, you first need to be satisfied and confident in who you are, because people will always want to throw stones. It's just part of nature. There's reasons for that, and I can go over that in future videos. But to give just a basic insight is people don't like to see other people win. And sometimes being a critic is how they win their game. And if the way that you win your game is being a critic, you have a self-interested system that doesn't want to die, because it's part of who you are and how you make a living, or how you create importance and value in your life. So you live in that space of, I'm going to criticize this, I'm going to criticize that. It's just there, and we've seen a business model that has rewarded it, so it's not likely going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Now, the best way to be able to work with that is to be able to develop the confidence in yourself. Understand that there's going to be times that you have doubt. It happens to all of us. But what do you do when that doubt shows up? It's you take one step forward. You focus on the small goals. You take another step towards another one of the most reasonable goals that are accomplishable. Some people, it's make your bed. Some people, it's put the toothpaste cap back on your toothpaste. Others, wash out the sink after you brush your teeth, because this toothpaste will sit and then it clogs it up, and then as you see it, you've lowered your baseline of effort if you don't address it over time. And you want to watch out for those baselines that pull us back, because they put it back. Baselines like that put us back into a comfortable habit that we're used to. So as we move through this series, know that I want you to be able to come to that conclusion of where you currently are and what you want to do, and have insight into your own life. Stop pulling around a wagon of frustration, waiting for the match to ignite it so it consumes you in front of other people in a way that you lose credibility, you look bad, you feel bad, and therefore you retract, or you try to own the frustration, and then you become known for being outrageous or irrational or ridiculous in behavior, unpredictable but yet predictable in violence or frustration or acting out. You're reducing the people that want to support you, and you're increasing the people that want to watch you fail. So be careful for going that route. It's not that you can't be successful in it. If your goal is to be successful by being an outrage influencer, is that something has become a market that does have opportunities in it. Now, satisfaction, and when I get to the spirituality portion, which is the purpose-based portion of this maturity series, you'll find that your legacy and your purpose will both end up being affected, and you really want to put those things into perspective. Where you are today doesn't mean it's where you need to be tomorrow. If you need the frustration and you need to act out right now, try to do it in the most responsible manner possible. Don't break any laws when you do it, and understand you're going to affect relationships around you when you do it. There is a consequence to it. If you're frustrated, you act out regularly, and then you wonder why people don't want to be there for you, and then you get into this narrative that no one's loyal and all of this. Well, what about your actions leading up to that? There's a good chance you've taught people that you are that person that you're complaining about. People aren't loyal. Well, you're probably not loyal yourself. By jumping into the next thing to be outraged over or frustrated over, or how quick you are to want to grab your sword versus, open your ears. So, clarity portion of this, let's get really clear about what we want to accomplish. First off, let's create a clearing. Let's create a starter point. That is what this video is. Now, I want you to know that this is because I care. I care to see that people have less frustration because they have more of a mature way of dealing with things. If you want to be that person, you have to work to be that person. And what the work looks like is this. It's introspection. It is consideration of where you currently are. When you understand where you are, then you can start creating a foundation that works for your future goals. But if you don't do that, you skip steps, you end up with a faulty foundation, or you end up with, something that if you were to buy it, you'd probably try to sue somebody over it because you'd feel like you've been taken because you skipped too many steps, and now it's falling apart on you. Let's get away from the blame game. Let's get back to the responsibility and ownership. But before we get too far into all of that, let's create that starter point. Let's create that clarity about where we currently are so we know where we want to go. Guys, with that, guys and gals, non-gender specific, just turn a phrase. I care greatly for all of us. I want to see a world that we can get along in, still have fun. You're not going to lose fun because you're learning how to build your future. If you learn how to make that fun for you, you're going to put more effort into it versus a chore or a task that you just have to do. We can do both. Let's make it fun and have to do. But there will be times on the scale of value by contrast that you won't have fun. That's normal. It's natural. Expect it. But the fun parts are going to be great. And when you learn to enjoy the parts that aren't so great, that's when you're going to be making great momentum towards the future you want to see. With that, thank you so much for your time. Please hit the like button. Share this. The like button actually does help. Or just acknowledge that you've watched the video, is it does help with ranking. It does help with getting this out. If you feel that this is something that you want to be a part of, or you want to enroll people in your life, that you are up to something, and you're up to something for the future that you want to see, the guided future that you're creating, share the video, comment on the video, share it with as many people as that you want. There are ways to support the channel. You can subscribe to this channel, as well as there are donation options. Anything that we can do to make this more frequent, to make this more in-depth, and to make this a better polished product, by all means, please be as supportive as you can. I want to see the world change for the way that's going to be working for everyone. I don't want the world to look the way that I want it to look so that I'm satisfied overall, other than the fact that I want us all to be together in this process and not be so tribal and so ready for warfare and to harm another person because of other reasons that are kind of unimportant or pretty superficial when you really dig deep into this. So, not to invalidate, guys. We'll go over that at another time. So with that, thank you so much for your time. Comment for what you'd like to see moving forward. You will see more videos that are continuing the foundation into the intermediate and advanced stages of ascending to total maturity. So today, or the next video, will almost certainly be, unless there's a surprise, will be on finance. So with that, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Chad Everett Brochures, growing up in the wilds of suburbia. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. And